Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a deck profile with Thomas, who got top 4 at PPG Arizona. Thomas, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome, glad to hear it. So, you played Soul Striker. Soul Striker's been doing very, very well the past few weeks. It started to creep up about, I would say, 3 weeks ago. Last week, it won a few tournaments, and this week, once again, it won a few tournaments. You got top 4, but I gotta say, you had a very, very interesting build. You actually played Soul Striker Power Rangers. So, firstly, I guess, what made you want to play Soul Striker? Did you mess around with the typical Soul Striker of just mono blue? And then what led you to Soul Striker like Power Rangers?
Well, I was, in all honesty, gonna play Blue Baby, but I was missing like 9 cards before like the event even came in. I was like, I don't have like $200-400 to spend to get all the promos and TPs that I needed.
Right.
And SRs. So my buddy Irvin, who was also at the event, was all like, yo, I got clapped by the Soul Striker Rangers deck on like the online event just before this event. And he was like, this is the build, this is what you're going to run. And we kind of just built it like the week and a half beforehand and just play tested it a little bit. Because he was playing Gotenks and he got clapped. So he was like, this is a really good deck, I promise you. And I was really skeptical. And then we just play tested around a little bit, but it was good.
So what do you think? What do you think it does? How do you think it compares to like the typical mono blue Soul Striker?
I don't know too much about the typical mono blue. I know it's consistent, but I like the Ranger chain specifically for the Gotenks matchup because everybody was kind of on Gotenks, and it does really good against it because the 4-drop Ranger and the 6-drop Ranger have barrier, so they can't just quick hit it with Frieza. And that was kind of the play, is to just go through your Ranger chain as fast as you can and not let them have cards with the 5-drop and 6-drop crit. Like the 25 and 35 double crit hurt.
Yeah, I think the Ranger engine is actually really good when there are a lot of leaders that awaken at early life, like we see right now. Like you have Soul Striker, you have Gotenks, you have a few of these other decks. They all awaken really early, so you have to get through their life somehow, right? Unless you have like Victory Strike. So doing that with double strike crit and double strike crit dual attack, it's pretty crazy. Now let me ask you another question. So with Soul Striker, right, you have the option to untap an energy on your unawakened side. 99% of the time players will just attack and draw a card because you generally don't need that energy that early. So is it like a typical play to like play the 1-drop Catapesla and then find the 4-drop and then attack, untap, and then evolve it right in the same turn, or can you kind of get away with waiting till turn 2?
It really depends on the matchup. If it depends on if your opponent can get rid of the 1-drop, you could just draw the card. But if they can get, well, I said that wrong. If they can't get rid of the 1-drop, you just sit there and you draw the card and you can wait. But I personally like getting the 4-drop out because it has barrier and it's really hard to get rid of, and it's a double attack if you need to get rid of a Unison the next turn.
That makes a lot of sense.
Get rid of a Unison.
That makes a lot of sense too, because then you can just go right into the 5-drop on turn 2, as where most decks that play this chain, they have to wait till turn 3. So that's actually, I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, you can, if you have the pieces in hand, like I did on one of my games, I had all 4 pieces in hand, so I went into the 6-drop on turn 2.
Very cool.
And I pretty much just auto won the game from that point on, because 30k dual attack double crit is really hard to get over.
Yeah,
turn 2 and onward.
So when you have like 4, 8, 12, 16 targets, assuming you play the 1 Catapesla, you have 15 targets left in the deck. Did the 1-drop Catapesla like ever miss?
I think I missed it a total of twice the entire tournament. I at least hit a piece every time, like almost every time I dropped the 1-drop.
Very nice. That's very cool. Yeah, I've seen this once before, and the Ranger engine of Soul Striker definitely interests me. So we'll get on to more of the blue stuff here. This is all pretty standard. 4 Unknown Parasite, 4 God Sealing, but only 2 Heroic Prospect. And I believe in your side deck you weren't siding any other copies. Correct me if I'm wrong. But did 2 copies in the main ever feel like too little?
It did, actually. That was one of the things, like, if I'm going to be honest, we're like, when we built the deck, it was only like 80% complete because we were going to run the 4 TP Trunks, the negate. But I just ran it with what I had because I only have 2 Aboonies in the deck as well because I only own 2 Aboonies, which that was also fine. That one was fine, but the Trunk side, it definitely hurt, especially in like the Broly matchup. I struggled a lot because I played Broly, I believe, in the first, the top 8. No, I didn't play it the first day, but the first game of the day against Broly, it's just a rough matchup.
Yeah,
And
there's
TP
so many
helps
matchups
a lot against that.
Yeah, there's so many matchups where Trunks is really good, so it makes a lot of sense. I think 3 and maybe like one more in the side deck is probably good, but again, playing with what you have is the best we can do, right? So,
absolutely.
All right. Here's your 4-drop lineup. So we have 4 Raging Incarnation of Evil, 2 Mirichum, and 2 Obuni. So what's interesting is over the past few weeks, people have been dropping Obuni. You know, before that, it was like a 4 of automatic. You have to play it. In the current meta, it seems like you can kind of get away with playing less Obunis because there's a lot of matchups where it's not great. Namely, it's not great against green. It's not great against blue. So you said playing 2 of that was fine. And then 2 Mirichum and 3 Janemba. So just talk to me a little bit about how you came to this lineup of ratios.
Yeah, so I was working with my buddy who told me to run the deck because I was unsure of what I wanted to play. And he was like, this is definitely the ratios that I would run. And I kind of just trusted him on it because he played against the deck and he was like, this is really good. It's going to be really consistent. And I saw all the pieces I needed to, which was good. I do like the 2 Obunis. I think 2 is fine. And I think 2 is actually necessary because you can, at least in the red Broly matchup, when they hit Violent Rage, you can go in for a bunch of 15Ks when they say, no, you can't attack with the 25 or more. And it's got Deflect, which always helps. And the Mirichum also helps too, because the Mirichum has the barrier. A lot of the cards are pretty much for the Gotenks matchup, because it's a rough one if you don't have any cards that can stay on board, because they just pop everything with Frieza.
Right. And then how did Janemba do for you?
Janemba was fun. The Janemba was mainly for like a turn 5 play to add a little bit of pressure, because it's 4-drop, it has the Deflect, and it untaps you the 3 and draws you a card on your opponent's turn. And it also allows you to set up for like the 5-drop baby play on turn, your opponent's turn instead of during your turn.
Right. So yeah, definitely very solid there. So we have, for our super combo lineup, we have 2 Sacred Disbelief and 2 Disciplined Warriors. So you're going with a 2-2 split here. Most lists I see just play the 4s of monsters. So what made you want to go with the 2-2 split?
The deck doesn't have a lot. Well, it has the draw power with the Unisons and the leader, but it doesn't have it outside of that. And there's not too much early game aggro, which is why I ran the 2-2 split for some of the rogue decks out there that run the early game aggro, like Skillless and Vegex. It's pretty much why I ran the 2-2 split, so I could survive turns 1 and 2 when I'm tapped out, because those are the 2 turns that you're going to try and climb to 6, and then you want to try and hopefully see your Unison by turn 3, and then that's when you pretty much rely on the Vegeta.
Gotcha. And then I'm assuming Sand Instinct's in the same vein. It just gives you that additional draw power, which in Soul Striker is essentially free, because you can swing on tap 2 and pretty much go from there. So your negate lineup is very interesting. So 4-dimension magic, 3 beam is definitely very standard. But then the 2 internal energy shift was very interesting to me. So this card I think spiked for maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I haven't heard too much about it ever since then. So why did you decide to include this card, and how did it work out for you?
Yeah, so I was thinking of cards that I could replace for the 2 TP Trunkses that I didn't have. And I was looking through the couple of sets and stuff in blue, and I was thinking about just running Whis Coercion initially. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of like Whis Coercion, but if I ever have to just be stuck with the 5-drop or 4-drop that I had to double swing with, I can negate and possibly restand it, and they can't swing over it.
Okay, very cool. So basically add it as a kind of a chance, but I mean, most likely it's gonna hit, right? So it's basically an extra layer.
Yeah, it hit 99% of the time.
Very nice, very cool.
In fact, on my stream game, I think I hit Joey with it twice, and I hit the top card, and it was a Violent Raise every time.
Oh wow, that's pretty awkward. So
yeah,
this is pretty much your big beefy boys. This is definitely very, very standard. So what we'll do is we'll go to the side deck, and I'll pretty much just let you take the reign and explain what you did here.
Gotcha. So with my side, I have not too many tech options. I think the only things I sided the entire tournament were the Black Mass Saiyans and the Max Power Kamehamehas, mainly for like the Gotenks and the Broly matchups, to try and slow them down a little bit. And I think I didn't side. I had the unexpected turns for Broly as well because I thought it was going to go off as a little bit better than it did, but I never actually ended up siding it. And then the rest of my side cards were just situational for other stuff, like the Bardock was for the I think it's the Dark Broly matchup to try and slow them down, but we didn't see any Dark Brolys there at the tournament.
Then it looks like the Borgo is probably for the mirror match. Did you play any mirror matches?
Yes, I did. The Kevin who won the event, I played him. We went 2-1. He won the first game, I won the second game before him and MacGyver played. And I won my second game, the second round against him because I hit 2 Borgos on board.
Oh,
the
wow,
2 that I had.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's for the mirror match, and pretty much just solely for the mirror match because Baby's gonna do all their untapping on your turn.
Gotcha. And then Protect the People probably just against like smaller rush decks like AOD, things like that. Christ Crusher for if someone plays Borgos against you. And then what did you want the Food the Dark Banisher for?
The Food Dark Banisher was just a big card that I could play to help get my opponent just a threat, kind of like was going to play Fu Shrouded, but I thought the Dark Banisher was going to be better for the volume swings, and then if my opponent had a bunch of negates for like the mirror match or Baby, they'd be forced to pitch a bunch of cards to activate the negates.
Gotcha. So,
but I never actually ended up needing to side it.
Gotcha.
So I think I'd run it Fu Shrouded instead, so I'd have more of a reason to side it.
Yeah, Shroud can help, especially against like Sin Shenron, for instance, who when they get to the super late game, they kind of just like tap 6 and they kind of just start to win from there. So, all right, that's the deck overall, man. Anything you would change about it? Anything you want to say about the event? And any shout outs you want to get out there?
Yes, definitely run the 4 TP Trunkses. There's the can't remember the name of it. Either the Vegito, the other blue TP Unison is one of the cards I was missing that I was gonna run. And as far as shoutouts, the shoutouts I give are part of the team a small little team that I'm a part of, kind of up and coming here, local team. Shoutouts to Irvin. Irvin's the one who helped me with the deck tremendously, giving me all the pointers, tips that I needed, and all the support from all the boys here at AZ.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you.